Hey guys, Wellen Customs here, and today we are finally going to take a look at the Red Onslaught / Onslaught figure, Build-A-Figure that is, from Hasbro right here. Now I had all the pieces for a long time. I've just been waiting for the Magneto head from the Kitty Pryde figure from the Juggernaut wave, and I finally got it, so I think it's about time that I put them all together. Actually, I had it for a while, I just never got to it. But you know how hard it is to have all the figures, all the pieces together and not build it yet? So we've been waiting for this video to be made so I could finally have it in my collection, so let's go. Alright guys, so let's start off with this piece. Of course, this is the torso piece right here. Hope I'm in focus. So let's start with the legs, of course. Get the right leg in. Hope we have a nice click. Yeah, pretty good, not bad. Let's get the next one in. No, doesn't want to go in. Try number 2. There you go. Nope, try number 3. Jesus Christ. Come on. Alright, that feels pretty good. Is it good? Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty tall figure. Doesn't have the best ankle joints because he's not moving forward. Alright, so let's reposition the camera. Right there. Next, we will do the arms. This should be a good click. Let's go. There you go. Sounded pretty nice. Next one. Nice, there you go. Alright, now let's do the shoulder pads. I think you can get this. It's pretty easy. Next one. That was pretty easy as well. Alright, now for the backing. Right there. Last but not least, which head are we going to use? Nope, we're going to use this one, because this is what I've been looking forward to. And there you go. Alright guys, so here is Onslaught in all his glory, and I like how it looks. I have to admit, I think it's pretty good. You know, it's a nice Build-A-Figure piece. Nothing too crazy, not the biggest detail, but the body sculpt, in my opinion, is pretty well done. Of course, there was the old original one from Toy Biz. I wasn't a big fan of it. I never collected the whole thing. You know, they went a very drastic route on that one. This one, in my opinion, looks a lot better. Of course, Hasbro has been knocking out of the park when it comes to well-proportionate body sculpt, so I like how this looks. You know, it looks pretty good. This is not that great to be desired, to be honest. So let's take this off for a second. See how it looks like in the back right there. So, like, you know, this figure isn't that bad. You know, it's not the craziest, not a lot of detail, but it just looks very effective and good. Pretty decent Build-A-Piece figure, well, Build-A-Figure that is, if you want it in your collection. If you were big fans of that old Onslaught saga back in the day, you definitely like this one like I do. He definitely had a couple of different looks in the comics, depending on the artist and the time the character was coming out. He is the brainchild of Charles Xavier and Magneto, but if you read Uncanny Avengers, you guys know that Red Skull killed Charles Xavier, took his brain, and basically took his powers, and you get Red Onslaught. Yeah, you know, I'm not a big fan of it. Didn't care for that much, to be honest. But we didn't really care. We just want this one, right? So there you go. Now looking at him up close and personal, like I said, it's pretty basic, nothing crazy here. I like how they gave him the Magneto helmet, but shaded in the black there. It looks pretty nice, so you can see his eyes. Not a lot of detail on the shoulder pads, but they're nice and big, so that's pretty good too. The body is pretty nice as well. You definitely have a lot of panels, so that's pretty nice there. Not a lot of paint apps on this figure, really. Everything is just basically molded in plastic of whatever color that is. Maybe this part is painted right here and over here, but not that much paint, really. Got some shading, oddly, on some parts of the legs and arms. But like I said, the paint apps on this figure is very minimal. But, you know, they don't really have to, in my opinion, they don't really have to put that much. I think it's pretty good the way it is. I do wish that he had one fist hand and one open hand like this. I always enjoy having a nice fist hand to do a nice punch. Even though I don't think he punched a lot. I could be wrong, I really forgot, but looks pretty good. Here's the back. Alright, so for articulation right now, let's get into it. He does have a ball jointed head on a hinge. However, it's not the greatest. It pretty much is just a regular ball joint because the hinge is non-existent. So he does turn his head left and right a little bit. It goes up and down a little bit, but that's mainly on the ball joint, not on the hinge. So you have that right there. He does have 2 shoulder pads on the side right there, which aren't that bad. I was playing around with it a little bit, so let's talk about it right now. So you could take one off. Let's take one off right now. So if he does not have these shoulder pads on, he has pretty decent normal articulation. Hinge joints that rotate, so they go all the way around. No problems there. Up and down, about that much. Not that bad at all. He has a bicep swivel. He has 1 point at the elbow right there, and the elbow also rotates like that, so he has a lot of movement right there. And at the wrist, he does have a hinge joint and a swivel. The hinge joint on this one isn't the greatest, but the swivel was fine. On this one, the hinge is a lot better. It goes up and down a little bit better, but yeah. So on this side, though, when he has the shoulder pad on, it's not the greatest. You know, you can move it up a little bit. The arms go about that high. In and outs mainly that much. So it's not that great, a little bit restricted, but what I was doing and playing around with is that maybe if you bring the shoulder pads the opposite way, and surprisingly, it does not look that bad. It really comes down to you if you want to do it like that. And let's put the backing on so you can see how it looks like with all this stuff on. Or maybe this is how he is supposed to look like and I was doing it wrong the whole time. But if you want to do it like this, then his arms can go forward all the way. They go out almost basically all the way as well. So he definitely has better rotation in the arms when his shoulder pads are like that. But these are really high up. They don't move down that much at all as well. But you could leave it like that and he has better articulation in the arms, definitely. So that's really up to you. Now going down to the torso piece, he doesn't have a waist joint, but his ab joint is basically a ball joint, which is pretty good. It goes back about that much, pretty nice. Forward a lot, that's really good too. It does swivel left and right, and does kind of pivot left and right as well. So, man, this ball joint is very good at his torso. You have a lot of good poses that way, if you choose to. Going down to the rest, he does have a T-joint in the hip. They go up about that much, not that bad, almost 9 degrees, almost. He does have a thigh swivel. He has 2 points at the knee, which is pretty good. And at the ankle, not the greatest. There is a pivot in it. Goes left and right, no problems there. The hinge goes back pretty good, but it doesn't go forward that much. Not even barely straight, barely 9 degrees. You know, I do wish it was a little bit better. So you might have to lean him forward a little bit, just a little bit, to get him really standing straight. Or maybe you could, yeah. So the ankle joint is probably the worst part. And then the shoulder pads also, you know, you can work with them a little bit. Little key thing to point out, over here on his wrist, you have little gauntlets that do rotate. I don't think they're supposed to come off or anything, but they're just pretty much added on there. Alright, size comparison. Here is the Build-A-Figure of Onslaught right next to all the other Build-A-Figures I have in my collection. And it's kind of crazy to think about it because all these Build-A-Figures come of at least 6 figures, 6 to 8 figures. So if it's 6 figures each, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got group back there. That's at least 42 figures you have lying around someplace. If it's 8 figures each, you can have 56. That's a lot of figures. A lot of figures, guys. So I got Groot right there in the back. Let's move some people around so get a better look at him. I mean, it's a pretty decent sized figure. I like how he looks. Good size overall. Here is the Hulk for some reference as well, if you want to put him in there. Not bad at all. Yeah, so it's a pretty decent sized figure. We'll get into some other size comparisons of some of the other smaller and normal figures right now. And right now here is Juggernaut with Onslaught right here, so you can see a nice size comparison between the two big guys right there. And here's another size comparison with some of the other Marvel Legends figures. You have a standard sized one with Deadpool right here using the Bucky Cap mold. You have a small short Wolverine right there, and a pretty decent sized, a little bit bigger than average Cable figure right there. So he's Onslaught is definitely a pretty big figure. He stacks up pretty well in my opinion when it comes to size and scale with the rest of them and how he is in the comic book, so I have no problems here at all. And of course, we can't have the video without Red Onslaught in the background right there, so we have him right there, of course, with the Uncanny Avengers, and it consists of Wolverine, Captain America, Havoc, Scarlet Witch, Rogue, and Thor. And I actually like this group right here. It's a very unique group, and I definitely enjoyed them when they were together, but this is pretty much what you have to look at when it comes to Red Onslaught. And as we end the video, let's take a quick look at these head sculpts side by side. We have Red Skull, of course we have the Magneto head right there, and they're pretty good. I like how they look. This is a pretty decent Red Skull head as well. Very detailed. Let's move in a little bit quicker and closer. Very detailed, very nice. Definitely good head sculpt. The teeth look really nice overall. But yeah, this one too, you know, really comes down to how do you want to pose your Red Onslaught or Onslaught figure in your collection. What do you guys like? Personally, I like this one a lot better. This is the more iconic one. If you want to be updated, I guess you could go with this one. And actually, you know, to tell you the truth, I don't know what's going on in the comics anymore after he was defeated briefly. I didn't like it because, you know, he got huge. If you didn't read the comics, you know, he got gigantic and stuff like that, and I just didn't care anymore. But yeah, this is the more iconic one, so this is the one I'm going to have on my collection and display. Alright guys, so that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know this figure has been out for a while, but I finally got around to reviewing it, so I gave my 2 cents about it and what I think about it. So what do you guys think about the shoulder pads? Keep it, go back to the normal way. Either way, it doesn't look that bad. You know, I had it on for the rest of the review, and I don't really mind it, to be honest, so there you go. So that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Like always, comment, criticize, subscribe, do whatever you want to pay attention. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram with wildandcustoms.com. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Peace!